Hey, Freedom from Food community. Let's talk about vibe. If someone said to you, what is your vibe? What are you going to say? You're just basically going to give a check over and see what you're vibrating at. That's pretty much what it means. If you give yourself a number out of 10, you kind of know where you're vibing on that particular day. If you're vibing high, you're feeling good, you're feeling energized, you're feeling passionate, you're feeling committed, you're feeling empowered, you're feeling grateful, you're feeling love, you're generally vibrating at a really high frequency. So that's probably 7, 8, 9 out of 10. If you're in the middle, you're bored, frustrated, hopeful, positive. If you're vibrating lower, it's obviously anger, resentment, guilt, and then going down right at the bottom is things like fear, disempowerment, grief. In fact, disempowerment is the very, very lowest vibration that we can experience. So if you are there a lot of the time, and I think for a lot of us in the world where things are being controlled externally, we feel like we don't have any power to change things. We could be living in a vibe that is very disempowered. It affects our whole lives and it affects our habits. And for us, where your habit is to reach for food or your habit is not to reach for food, this is where you can fall into some traps. So I'm here to say, let's look at empowering you and moving away from feeling disempowered, which is a very low vibration. And how do we do that? Awareness is the key to be super, super awake and super, super conscious about what you are doing. Habits are things that we do. Sometimes our body does before our brain is even clocked that we're doing it. How many times have you got in your car and you're off to do something else and then you're just on your way to work because you do that so often? So your body can take over when you have habits. So if you become aware and you become conscious of what's happening, you can make changes. And also you take your power back. As soon as I was conscious and more awake about how much, not necessarily how much, but when I was going into a binge cycle, when I'd eat too much and portions were too much, and then I'd go into possibly purging, as soon as I was more aware of that and awake, suddenly it didn't have so much power over me because I was aware of it and I knew it was happening. If you're restricting, the same thing. I mean, I know number game is something we want to stay away from in terms of calories, but this is an important formula. If you take your weight in pounds, so if you take your weight in kilograms and times it by 2.2, you'll get your weight in pounds. If you have your weight in pounds and you times it by 16 if you're super active, and I would say exercising at least 4 or 5 times a week, and then have got a busy job and up on your feet all day with kids, I would say times that number by 16 and that'll give you how many calories you need just to maintain. Times it by 15 if you are moderately active, so maybe training twice a week and doing a walk every now and again. And if you're sedentary and doing not much exercise at all on top of just walking around, I'd times that number by 14. When you get that total, it'll tell you how many calories you need just to maintain your weight. Not put on, not lose, just maintain. So if you're restricting, you will then start to understand how much you are restricting your body. So that is an awareness. So this is a step that you can use to become more aware of your restricting. Also with binging and purging, I spoke about it in another video about having a day on and a day off. So when you have a day off and you are not by any means under any circumstances allowed to binge and purge, you're super aware of it because you're awake and you're like, okay, this is not on the plan today. But then the next day it's saying that you have to on your plan. So then you're like, well, now that I'm aware of it, I don't really want to do it. It's a very, very interesting concept. So please let me know how you feel about your vibes, how you feel about feeling empowered and disempowered, and how you feel about being awake. And if there's any other tools that people can use, just comment below and let us know how you're feeling. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.